Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. Kanye, not a genius. And look, this has nothing to do with his bouts with clearly bipolar. And I don't think it's funny. I think it's a little bit sad that everybody's like throwing clips on the internet and mocking him. The guy's mentally ill. It's sad. But I'm talking more about his music because I got into it with my son a couple days ago. He's telling me about how Kanye's a fucking genius. I've listened to Kanye, never got it, never got moved by him, never thought to myself, this guy, I'm sick of everybody telling me Kanye is a genius. I don't know. My son said, you can say that Kanye is more influential than the Stones were at their peak. Fuck you, Owen. You don't know shit. And Jordan's better than LeBron, while we're on the topic of talking to my son, Owen. Anyway, this is a multi-generational thing, and I get that. But what I don't like, excuse me, little phlegmy, little touch of the COVID. I think he's got a bad voice. I don't like his flow. I don't like his... I mean, he features other people on his songs, and I'm almost always enjoying the people that are featured than I am him. He's got a bad voice. He's the grandiosity, which is... I get it. That's what rap is. But his is at a whole other fucking level. You know, I sat down, and listen to me. I sat down yesterday, and I listened to an album front to back, every moment, with fucking Bose headphones on, and I tried to take it in. Don't get it. Some of the lyrics, so fucking full of himself. Bow in the presence of greatness, because right now God has forsaken us. You should be honored by my lateness, that I would even show up to this fake shit. So go ahead, go nuts, go apeshit. No, not going apeshit, not going nuts. Just kind of fucking flatlined. No goosebumps. Anyway, hope you heal, Kanye. I hope you get your shit together, because a lot of people think you're a genius. You're going to let them down. Had a great weekend. Hung out with my my nephew, who is staying with us 3 or 4 nights a week. This great kid. I think I've talked about him on the podcast. But he's got his wife, and we took him to the beach, and my daughter taught them to surf. Beautiful day in Venice. We all threw on some wetsuits and rode some waves. I'm not a good surfer. I feel weak when I get out there, because when you're a beginner, you got to go out with this long fucking 10-foot foam board that floats like a yacht, and you just have to try to get on it, as opposed to a small board where you got to pop up on it real quick, and then it falls out from under you. The big one stays steady, so that's what you start on. But by the time I get it out, first you got to swim against the waves, and they're landing on you, and it's pushing you back, and you're paddling with muscles that you don't really have, like a muscle here and a muscle under your arm by your pit. All these muscles start cramping as I'm fighting the waves, and then I get out there, and I got to quick turn the board around so that I can be in position for the wave that's going to carry me into the sand. But then it takes more paddling to get your speed going to catch the wave. And then, God forbid, you're a little towards the front, then the nose dives, and you go flying forward and flip over. And you're fucking laying in the water exhausted, and you got to chase your board down. And I don't like it. My daughter fucking loves it. It's like her life. She's a great surfer. Wins tournaments. She's got all these trophies. She's really good. So anyway, she took out Rowan, my nephew, who was almost a Navy SEAL. He made it to like the final cutoff of the SEALs, which is like takes months of training and being in pain and not sleeping and carrying fucking boats on your head and getting yelled at. And so anyway, he's a really good swimmer, tough guy. And he even had a hard time. And I don't look good. I put on the wetsuit, and I'm really kind of embarrassed. I've let myself go, and that's not like me. I'm usually in pretty good shape. But, and it's the one thing about this pandemic is I really believe that you have to keep up appearances during this time, because when it ends, you got to be ready, and you can't just snap out of slovenliness at the turn of a dime, at the push of a button, at the flash of a gun, whatever it is that makes you go again. So I keep the hair tight, keep it tight, keep shaved. I eat right. I meditate. I don't get up fucking late in the day. I try to limit the jerking off to a couple days a week. That's it. And I keep my office clean, and I have friends that just think this is a fucking free-for-all, like this is ancient Rome. You know, they get up, they're just fucking fat bearded zeros. They wake up at noon and just fling their own semen around their smelly, unkept room, and then they put on a mask. Thank God there's masks at this time. I don't want to look at your fucking gray and orange beard that's scraggly in different places. I don't want to see that because you think that it's a permanent vacation. Do it for America. Do it for your family. I'm just tired of seeing fucking beards. Anyway, so we had a good day. We first we had brunch. I made a big frittata. I'm a breakfast guy. I don't do a ton of cooking, but I cook breakfast all the time. And I put 14 eggs in a big fucking pan, threw a lot of vegetables in and cheese, and fired it up. It was fucking great. And then we surfed. We laid in the sun for a couple hours, laughed. Then we went out to this place that makes these they're like sushi burritos. It's called Sunny Blue in Santa Monica. It's so good. Ate some of those, rode the bikes home, and then took an outdoor shower, jumped in the hot tub, read the Sunday paper cover to cover. I made dinner then on top of it. Made a pork loin for dinner. Watched a couple episodes of that new show on HBO. What is it called? Perry Mason, which is really good. And then went to bed, threw a move on the wife, shot down, called it a night. Took a powder. Can't win them all. Eating good lately, though. Eating a lot of good. We broiled some tri-tip on the grill the other night. Rowan feels guilty that we're putting him up and feeding him, and so like 1 or 2 nights a week he'll come home with a lot of meat. So he went to Bob's Market, which has got this great butcher, and he got these thick, fucking 2-inch thick tri-tips, 6 pounds of them for the 5 of us. And we did it right. We did a nice rub. We put a good rub on it, let it sit. You got to get it to room temperature. And then we fired up the grill, seared it on both sides, took it off the direct heat for like a good 30, 35 minutes. Got the inside temperature just right. I think it was 100, 140 degrees maybe. And chowed. Sliced some sweet potatoes, salted the fuck out of them. Some asparagus. Been eating good. And then my daughter, who likes to make desserts, made a key lime pie, which was delightful, I must say. Thank you, JoJo. Topped off a perfect night. Just needed a cigar. That's all I needed. I took a microdose of magic mushrooms a couple days ago. My neighbor, he had a couple friends. They were kind of hippy-dippy Venice types. And he's telling me about his friend is developing this microdose of mushrooms with all these others. It's got like lion's mane in it. It's got a bunch of different herbs and homeopathic stuff. So he gave me a couple of pills. I took them. I think it was on Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday. And nice day. You know, you don't trip, but you also don't trip up. There's the slogan for his company. You won't trip, but you won't trip up. I just kind of glided effortlessly from task to task. Put on some groovy music. I was listening to some Stevie Wonder. I listened to some Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I just got a lot of writing done. It was nice. They say you can get off your antidepressants, so you can get off a bunch of shit with with microdosing mushrooms. So I'm going to, maybe I'll move towards doing that a little bit more. Who knows? Anything's possible. I also wanted to tune up, you can get off antidepressants with meditation. I do a lot of meditation, but my meditation, I was having a hard time getting into it. And so and if you do TM at the TM place, at the Certified Transcendental Meditation Centers, it's not cheap, but then you're good for life. It's like a lifetime membership. You never pay again. You go in as often as you want. They tune you up. They do guided meditations, and it helps to be in a group. For some reason, meditation is this solitary, singular thing, but then when you do it with other people, you just somehow, I can't describe it, but you just go deeper. It's like there's this communal energy that's happening, dude. Why do I make fun of it? I love it. It's changed my life. And so the guy was giving me, there's a lot of, so I got onto a Zoom call with a guy who's one of the teachers at the TM Center. Great guy. And he leads me, and there was this other woman on the Zoom call who was, when you go to the TM Center, you do get the types that people make fun of. And this woman was on the call, and her face was just pulled back, forehead. She was like 60, not a fucking line on the forehead. Eyes are pulled back. And she had like a lot of like Tibetan jewelry on and a lot of candles in the background. And it was like, all right, lady, I get it. Meanwhile, she had just completed the course the week before. And she's already fucking accented the room. She's got all the accoutrements. She's got her merch. And so she's on the call with me, but she didn't say a word. It was just me and this guy. So I had a lot of questions about how my practice is not flowing lately. And I forgot a major thing, which is it's not about the mantra. The mantra is there as sort of a tool. It's a tool, but the practice is your mind. It's observing your mind and allowing the thoughts to come through and exist and not push them away. I was pushing the thoughts out of my brain so that I could focus and hammer on this mantra, and that's not what it is. He said it's like your thought. There's like a river. The meditation is like a flowing river, and if you try to only fight to just do your mantra, it's like this little estuary. There's a little pooling to the side of the river, and that's you, and you're stuck. And instead, you have to see the negative thought come in and realize it's down. It's in your brain now for a reason. It needs to be. He called it like a wash. Again, it's all metaphors. It's like a washing machine, and your mind is churning up and cleaning these thoughts that otherwise are stuck in your body and your mind. And then they go out. He says the other metaphor was picture your mind is like a house, and you've opened up the doors and the windows, and it's a sunny day, and there's a breeze coming through, and then some intruders come in, some robbers, and they're hanging around, and these are your negative thoughts, and you can't push them out because then they fight you, and there's a conflict. You just recognize them, you're cool with them, and then eventually they go, we must have the wrong house, and they leave out the back door. So it's a very difficult concept to think, well, I'm meditating, it's supposed to be this positive, affirming activity, and yet I'm sitting here thinking of negative thoughts, but then they go away, and then your brain naturally comes back to the mantra, and then and he said the mantra is like a pen. Hold a pen in your hand. If you're gripping it, your mantra, that's not getting anything. The floor is peace, and it's actualization and joy. And you got to let the mantra go, and then it hits the floor when you let it go. Huh? Anyway, highly recommend meditation, especially during these times. It can really help. And it's easy. Don't overthink it. Just listen to your breath. Set your watch. Do it for 5-10 minutes. And just listen to your breath and come back to it and see how you feel. And let me know. I talked to my mom today. She's on fucking quarantine at my sister's house. She lives in Florida, so she came up to visit my sister. And my sister shoved her down in the basement. She's got like a little apartment at my sister's house in the basement, and they won't let her up. And she's going fucking nuts. She's down there playing solitaire, reading Harlequin novels. She's watched apparently everything on Netflix. Everything. Hopefully not Warm is the Bluest Color, because that shit's nasty. Or Love. If you want to watch porn on Netflix, look up Love. Yeah, not the TV show that Judd Apatow did. Love the film. And kick back. Kick back with a couple hankies and some locked doors and enjoy yourself. But blue is the warmest color. That'll really get you there. Oh, my God. Put on some headphones so nobody can hear the screen. Or earbuds are better. I got some earbuds mailed to me not too long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I get them in the mail, and they say Raycon on them. I had no idea. Didn't know the company. Open up the box. Not addressed from anybody, but it's to me. And they're these earbuds, and I charge them up. I put them in my ears. I'm expecting them to be some pieces of shit from China. I thought maybe this is some weird, like, maybe they're sending cheap earphones to everybody in the neighborhood. I have no idea. I put them on, and they're like fucking broadcast quality earbuds. And I find out that they're from my ad agency that books my my reads on the podcast. They didn't tell me that I was receiving them as I do reads for companies and they want me to use the product first. And I'm using the fuck out of these things. I mean, I'm running to the beach, and I've only had wired headphones before, which are a pain in the ass if you do anything. They're a pain in the ass. And now these things are like, they're noise canceling, and I'm running to the beach. If I run with the wires, they get caught in my arm. I knock them out of my ear. These things blocked out the sound of traffic. I'm listening to The Pretenders yesterday. The first Pretenders album. Are you shitting me? Brass in Pocket. The opening song. This is Chrissie Hynde, who is not a trained musician. She was just a badass from Ohio who found her way over to London and hooked up with like all the punk rockers of the day. And she comes out of the gate with that first song, Precious. And she gets about 2 verses into Precious, and she just goes, "Oh, fuck off." And you go, damn, something just happened in music. This woman she did something new, and it's not going back. Anyway, I do that. I walk the dog while I'm listening to podcasts, Bill Burr or The Daily. I go to bed. By the way, these are from Raycon. This is an ad, by the way. This is how good I am at ads. I'm telling you when I love a product, and I love these. My wife snores like a fucking sow. And I listen to my audiobooks. I listen to boring historical biographies, and I listen to that. I can't hear her. Cannot hear her snoring. And yet I'm not getting fucking tied up in a wire laying in bed. Everybody needs a pair of these. And you need high-end ones. The name brand ones cost hundreds of dollars. But if you don't want to spend that, check out these ones. They're from Raycon. They started about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. And they sound as amazing. I listen to my son. My son has some expensive brand name ones. You cannot tell the difference. The newest model, the everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, the bass is rich, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable. I just keep them in all day. I'm on a conference call, boom, got them on. Listen to music, and you learn how to hit that little button, and it lets you do anything. The company was co-founded by Ray J and celebrities like Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg? No, that's a fucking Beach Boys song, Greg. Snoop Dogg with 2 G's and Cardi B with 1 B. They're obsessed with Raycons, apparently. That's what it said in my ad copy. I'd grab a pair. If I was you, I'm not shitting you, get a pair of these. And now is the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Fitzdog. That's buyraycon, RACON.com/Fitzdog for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buy them by raycon.com/Fitzdog. Okay, do it. All right, let's get to a couple of these sayings that your grandparents had, maybe your parents, maybe you had a crazy uncle, a neighbor. This one comes from Steve Dean, his dad used to say, whenever my brother and I would whine about something, he would tell us, there's going to be an ass-kicking contest, and you two are going to be the only contestants. Oh, yeah. There's nothing like, remember when domestic abuse was funny? Remember that? I remember Bill Cosby had a whole routine about that, the shit his parents would say to him. It was like some of Cosby's edgier stuff. His mother would say, I'll knock the black off you. But he was always clean. That's the thing. I always respected Cosby because he was clean. And he really went after the comedians that were saying curse words and saying nasty stuff because he was really putting out good, clean energy into the world. Just a good, upright guy who you should be like. Brett Ratner is my next listener email. The guy's name is Brett Ratner, spelt like Brett Ratner. And he says, please don't hold my name against me. It was given to me 46 years ago. And that shitbag has been besmirching our good name for... People don't say besmirch enough. Besmirching our good name for at least 2 decades now with his shitty movies and casting couch escapades. I actually get contacted all the time via email and text with threats aimed at my namesake. Anyway, my grandfather was a great guy, WWW2 vet and family man, and he would say things like this to me when I was 7. Once you get past the smell, you got it licked. Or, no muff is too tough. No dive is too rough. Hey, Grandpa. I'm 7. 7 years old. Been around for about 7 years. You may be getting a little ahead of me. In your old age, you may have gotten a little out of step with ages. He also said when she was 8 before she was 7. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean she was 8 like she was eaten before she was 7? Because that's about as fucking sick. I think that puts the grandpa over the edge. Or does that mean she was 8 before, like she was ahead of her time? Like she was doing 8-year-old stuff when she was only 7? Because if that's the case, I don't know the difference between 8 and 7-year-old activities. But keep an eye on grandpa. Steve Henry says, an Irish guy I worked with years ago gave me a good one. Quote, there's no flies on you. And if there were, they'd be paying rent. I like that. I like that. Tim Hutchison, who we hear from now and again. I always appreciate Tim writing in. When I would attempt something and fail, my dad would say, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. When I would wish for something, he would say, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which gets filled the quickest. Tim's dad was almost singularly focused on shit. German? Hutchinson? Sounds like a German guy. Just shit all the time. Hey, Dad, how was work? I shit in a guy's pocket. Got a shit sandwich from this asshole. Got a shit look from a guy on the train. And I crapped out a shit in the John. Shitty day. Little tip. Looking for things to do. Check out my friend Alex Edelman. Very funny comic. Actually a great writer, too. He's one of the hot young comedy writers in Hollywood. He's got a new album out called Until Now. You can get it on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere. And next week we're gonna sit down with my friend Lonnie Love. don't know if you remember Lonnie. I used to do Chelsea lately with her all the time, and she's on one of those. She's on one of those round table talk shows with other women. And I can't wait to talk to her. She's the best. Sunday Papers coming up on Sunday, and don't forget we've just added a second edition. We do a short little one called Thursday Papers as well. That'll be starting in 2 days. So it will be listed under Sunday Papers. It's not its own URL. Just download Sunday Papers, and it'll be the Thursday Paper edition of it. Also, Childish will be out every Wednesday with Allison Rosen. My guest today, let's get to them. This is the goddamn Sopranos episode. Oh, this has been booked for a while, and I was looking forward to it. Talked to these guys this week. And as Steve Schirripa, who you know is Bobby from the show, I've known from in the past. He's been on the podcast before. And then Michael Imperioli, I never knew. So I was a little nervous to talk to him. These guys, when you respect people this much, and Michael's done so many other things in the acting world. He's a very respected theater and film actor. And they got together. They're promoting their new show. We'll talk about that. And here it is, my interview with Michael Imperioli, Steve Schirripa. Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. My guest today, I've been looking forward to this for a while. These guys are out promoting, well, not just promoting their podcast. I'm sure they just want to get to know people as well. Michael Imperioli, Steve Schirripa, welcome to my show.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us, man.
Well, yeah, we're not out promoting, to be honest. I mean, we kind of did that at the beginning, and now we just talk to people we want to talk to.
Yeah, I love it.
Being one of them.
Well, thank you. This is your return to the podcast. The last time we did it was live on stage at Caroline's.
Caroline's. That's a long time ago that you were just starting, I think, right?
Yeah, I was just starting out, which is why I appreciated you coming on. And we stood up there and I said, all right, we'll do about a half hour, 40 minutes. And we stayed up there for about an hour and a half.
It's good. It's good.
We just shot the shit. Yeah, that was great.
Is that New York?
Yeah.
Caroline's, yeah.
Is there one in LA, Caroline's, or that's just New York?
No, Caroline's was like the first big club in New York. It started out, there was like, the Improv and Catch Rising Star, which were little smoky clubs.
Right.
And then Caroline's was the first one to say, like, let's get some headliners. And they, they did big, instead of the showcase format, which is just, maybe 10 comics each doing 15 minutes. It was opener, middler, and then a headliner doing an hour.
All right.
Now, weren't they originally at the Seaport?
Yes. Yeah.
They were at the Seaport, Caroline's, right?
Right.
Was that the original location?
Yeah, Caroline's at the Seaport, and it was Caroline Hirsch, and she was married. She got divorced from this guy, and they had invested in a comedy club. He was worth a lot of money. And then she said, you keep everything. You keep the cars, the house. Just give me the comedy club. And she turned into this like savant club owner who just did everything right and is still running an amazing club after 30 years.
And it's that now in Gotham. Chris Mazzilli, he's a good guy.
Yeah, Mazzilli's a good dude.
With Chris, I like him. I know Caroline. I like Caroline.
Yeah, she's great. And then, just to go back, now, Steve, we also knew each other, and Michael, we'll get to you because it's hard to interview two guests when you have so much to say to both of them. But Steve, you also were a guest on the Gong Show with Dave Attell that I was the head writer on.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember that crazy?
Remember that. The Gong Show, it was, I was a judge, right?
You were a judge.
Andy Dick.
Yep.
Which is just amazing how that motherfucker keeps on getting hired. I mean, because he was very nice to me. Bizarre.
He's bizarre, and he grabs everybody's dick, and he seems to get away with it.
If you're lucky, if you're fortunate. I met him. I was eating in a diner, that in Santa Monica, Swingers, I think it's called.
Yeah,
on Lincoln.
Swingers. On Lincoln, yeah.
So I was eating there late one night alone, and he was at a table with a bunch of people. And he invited me over to sit with them, and it was actually really fun. And he was really nice. He didn't try to grab me or anything, which bummed me out a little bit. But we had a good time, and he was really fun, and he was with a bunch of, I think they were sober people.
He goes back and forth.
I think that's where they were coming from, and we had a really fun time at Swingers.
Like when we did the Gong Show, it was Triumph.
Triumph the Insult Dog. We had Robert Smigel.
Robert, who's one of the funniest humans in the world.
Yeah.
And Andy sat on my couch in my dressing room and sent the PA out to get quarts of beer, like 4 quarts of beer.
Oh, no shit, really? Yeah, he's a dear friend. I've done a bunch of projects with him. I ran a show that he was on, and he is truly one of the most talented sketch guys out there. He's really, really smart and funny.
Is he doing better now?
He was until recently, and then somebody got murdered in front of him, and then I think he lost his sobriety again.
Really?
It's always a little tenuous.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he owned an art gallery in Hollywood. And I think he was living in it. And then there was a guy in there that was a friend of his. And there was some drug deal gone wrong. And the guy got shot in the head right in front of Andy.
God.
Yeah, fucked him up. Yeah.
That's horrendous.
Oh.
So,
yeah, but that was fun. That was fun, the Gong Show.
I
love Dave Attell. He's a funny son of a bitch. He used to work for me in Vegas.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Like, of the guys that worked for you in Vegas, because if people don't know this, Schirripa was the entertainment director at the Tropicana in Vegas, which
Riviera.
Oh, the Riviera. Right. The other one was the Top of the Trop, was the other comedy club in town, I think. That was your competition.
Bob Kephart.
Right.
Stop or whatever it was.
So who were the guys that really like were the ones that you always sat in the back of the room and watched when they were on stage?
I loved Dave Attell. I loved Nick DiPaolo. Joe Rogan.
Nobody knows more dialogue from The Sopranos than Nick DiPaolo. You can sit him down and he will recite entire episodes. It's fucking uncanny.
We used to have a show we used to go out with called Comedy You Can't Refuse.
Yeah.
And it was me and Michael, a couple other guys from the show, and we would use comics, and we used Nick numerous times.
Yeah.
And we were in Vegas at the Hilton at the time, 1,700 seat showroom, just packed. I mean, packed.
Yeah.
And Nick had one of the best sets. I don't think it could have been a better set. I mean, and I talked to him fairly recent. And remember that, Michael? I mean, he just crushed.
He did, yeah.
And we used to use Nick. We used Joey Cola, which we still use.
Joey Cola, sure.
Dom Herrera did a few with us.
Oh, yeah.
Dom Herrera, right?
Yeah. Dom Herrera, Vic DiPatetto.
Yeah.
We use Rob McNaughty, but I liked him. I love Damon Wayne's stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
Damon made me laugh. Andy Kindler, I was the only one laughing.
That's Andy.
I booked him, and I love Andy.
Yeah.
And I would just book him basically for my own fucking amusement because he would eat it most nights, but I found him to be brilliant.
Yeah, he's my favorite podcast guest. I have him on all the time. I have to bring a tissue because I wipe tears from my eyes the entire time.
He's great.
Pat Cooper, right? He was one of
your Pat Cooper.
He's the biggest scumbag. Listen to me. Listen to me, Greg. Of all the comics and people that I've dealt with over the years, now you're going back. I started in 1986 running the improv for Bud Friedman.
Yeah.
So I was new at it, and I'm talking everyone came through. Ellen to Richard Belzer and Bill Maher and Rosie and on, and Drew Carey, and we could go on and on forever. Dennis Leary and all these.
Paul Reiser, Seinfeld.
Seinfeld did not work for me, but he did a guest set. Robin Williams did a guest set, but those guys didn't work for me. But of all the guys, I mean, I'm talking a lot of people from George Lopez to Dennis Leary, Jeff Dunham. I could go on and on. They all work for me either in the club or the big room. Pat Cooper is one of the worst motherfuckers ever. And not only that, and I told this story to Michael, I once was friendly with him. No one would book him. He was blackballed from Las Vegas for motherfucking everybody. And the reason he motherfucked everyone because he had money. And he didn't have money from being a comic because he was the Italian poor man Jackie Mason,
Right.
a poor version of Jackie Mason. But he made money in real estate. So he had fuck you money.
Yeah.
So that gave him the license to go around motherfucking everybody.
Right.
Which obviously Stern and Imus and everybody in between.
Yeah, he bit a lot of hands that were feeding him.
But, so I booked the guy in 1995. April 1st, 1995. He hadn't worked in Vegas in 17 years. I said, Pat, listen, the town is growing. There's a lot more Italians. Let's do it, And I paid him a guarantee with a back end. But the thing that got me, he had that one, every Italian grandmother and grandfather. I think, Michael, your parents or grandparents had it. He had an album it's called Our Hero. And it was Pat Cooper sitting in a hero sandwich.
Right. Well, that one and spaghetti sauce when he's in a pile of spaghetti.
Okay.
With,
but Our Hero was a big Italian-American. Every fucking guinea had this album.
Right.
Okay, everyone. So I booked them, and I had to cut commercials, pick out bits to cut the commercials, where I booked them. So back in those days, I'm driving to work. I got a cassette player, and I'm listening to the act, this Our Hero from 1961, 2, 3, like that. It's funny shit, Italian wedding, blah, blah, blah. When I finally watch his act live, 30-something years later, it's fucking verbatim.
No.
30 fucking something years verbatim, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, so he accused us of robbing him and all the bullshit. I won't even get into that.
Yeah.
Just a fucking miserable motherfucker.
Yeah. No, I was a member of the Friars Club in New York for, my dad was in radio in New York, and he was on WNEW for my whole life. And Pat Cooper used to come on his show, and it was the same thing. He'd have him on, big laughs, great entertainer, one of the great storytellers. And then he started fucking my dad over. He would, he had demands, and you come into a radio show, there's no demands.
Exactly.
And so then I got to know him through the Friars Club over the years, and it was always something. You do a show with him.
They asked me to join. Freddie Roman, Dick Capri, who I've known forever.
Mousy Lawrence.
Yeah, I didn't know Mousy, but Stu. I know him well. He's a terrific comic and a good guy.
Yeah,
so they asked me to join. I said, when Pat Cooper passes away, call me. Then I'll join the Friars. Until then, I'm out.
So I want to talk to you guys about a lot. I wanted to get to, well, first of all, Michael, I should plug, you're on a show, Lincoln.
I'm not on a show. It's canceled.
It's canceled?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for coming on, guys.
You can watch the first season if you want in reruns. I'll probably be on the Peacock streaming service, but no, I think it was a casualty of the COVID and the difficulty of trying to navigate how to reopen production in New York, which is really tough right now. And it was on the borderline. It had a loyal following,
right?
But it wasn't, super hit in the ratings, but it did have a steady following, but it was one of those bubble shows. But the COVID really, I think, was the death knell. It was a great show.
Right.
Good actors, good writing, but we're on to other things now.
So I want to talk to you about, well, you're from Westchester County. I'm from Tarrytown. I grew up in, I lived in Throgs Neck in the Bronx until I was about 8 or 9. And I moved to Tarrytown.
Yeah, I lived in Mount Vernon. A lot of my family was in Throgs Neck. They lived right across from the Marina Del Rey.
Now, is that why? Because I noticed that you wrote and produced Summer of Sam, about Son of Sam, which took place in Throgs Neck.
It took place in around there, But I wrote it with Victor Colicchio, who's was an actor, but also a really good writer. But both of us had similar experiences because my cousin was beaten almost to death by people he grew up with in Mount Vernon who accused him of being the Son of Sam. No, Victor had a similar experience with somebody he knew in his neighborhood. He was more in like country club section of the Bronx, but not far from Throgs Neck. But, Berkowitz lived in Yonkers. Before that, he lived in New Rochelle, and before that, he lived in the Bronx. But he worked in New Rochelle. They were doing satanic rituals in Untermeyer Park behind his house with some of the other people who were, the Son of Sam did not act alone. That case is still open, and there's a lot of evidence.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Well, the police, had to put the lid on it, but the case was reopened a couple of years later because there was so much evidence that pointed to a lot of other people being involved in it. He only admits to the killings in the Bronx. He was present at all the killings, but he does not admit and the eyewitness testimony kind of corroborates that he was not the shooter in the Queens or Brooklyn murders.
And he had nothing to lose by admitting to more murders. He's in for life either way.
He's not getting out. He was afraid to name names because he didn't want his father to be, retaliated against these people.
Right.
Why would your cousin be accused? Was your cousin a little wacky or something?
I'm not really sure. It's a matter of debate. I don't really want to get into that, but there was a lot of that. That's what the movie's about. It's the paranoia that happened. And just anybody who's not like everybody else suddenly becomes suspect when there's this kind of level of hysteria and paranoia.
Right. But Mount Vernon is a crazy place because it's like it's a real right and wrong side of the tracks kind of a town, right? I mean, you've got it's largely black. Like JB Smoove, JB Smoove?
Sure.
Yeah, he's from there. So is Denzel Washington and P. Diddy.
He did? Really?
Oh, yeah. He grew up a few blocks away from me.
What about the basketball players that play for the Knicks?
Rodney McRae, Gus Williams, I think, is from there.
Floyd Patterson's from there.
Nina Simone lived in Mount Vernon at one time.
Oh, no shit.
She wasn't from there, but she lived there at one time. As did Malcolm X.
Let's not forget David Chase, the guy, your boss.
David Chase and I were born in the same hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, David Chase. David Chase and my grandfather worked at the same factory. David Chase's father was a supervisor. My grandfather was a tool and die guy there for a while. Because I brought in, I mentioned the factory in an episode that I wrote. And he said, "Oh, you Webendorfers, how'd you know?" I said, "How'd I know what?" He goes, "My father was a supervisor." I said, "My grandfather worked there. That's why I put it in."
Wow.
Wow.
And he was kind of blown away because I was talking about the Bund. There was, during World War II, there were actual, before the Nazis became our enemy, right? When Hitler had not become demonized, which he should have from the beginning, but a lot of people were slow to, go again, to oppose him or whatever.
Right.
And a lot of German Americans in the U.S. were kind of supportive. Right. Of the whatever kind of bullshit he was bringing, and there were little the Bund were little groups of I guess German immigrants that kind of were still supportive of that shit, and a lot of other people would attack them or vandalize their headquarters or whatever the fuck. And I was bringing that shit up in my episode, and he was kind of shocked that I knew about this place.
Wow, that's really
very
cool.
strange.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's weird because it's very small but very densely populated, and it's right on the border of the Bronx. You can take the subway, the last stop on the 2 train, and then walk to where I lived.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the city, but it's not really the suburbs.
Right.
It was very segregated when I grew up, much less so now. But there was a very poor section, there was middle class, and there was a very rich section, all in this very small place. Very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like it should be like the borough that Staten Island shouldn't be. When you think of Yonkers and Mount Vernon, those are really the 5th borough of New York City.
Yeah, in a lot of ways they were. They were a lot closer to the city than closer to Manhattan than Staten Island was. But yeah, they're interesting. For me, it was a great place to grow up. I'll be honest. I loved it there. It still had a neighborhood. You walk outside and all your friends are hanging out on the stoop, and you played football and baseball in the street and whatever. Right. It was great.
Right. So we should talk about Sopranos a little bit. One of the things I wanted to, it's so hard to interview you guys because I know you've been interviewed so many times, and I want to talk about things that maybe you haven't talked about already.
But I want to talk about Frankie Pellegrino, Frankie No, who was on the show, and who was the maitre d' Rayo's.
The
owner.
The owner, right.
Yeah.
So, and my dad was a regular there, so I used to go to Rayo's a lot. And as a matter of fact, my father died at Rayo's. He had a heart attack.
Really?
You're kidding me. What was your father's name?
Bob Fitzsimmons.
Bob Fitzsimmons.
What year was that?
Ask your folks. They'll know him.
Greg, what year was that your father passed away in there?
93.
Really?
Yeah. And of course it was Rayo's, so like a bunch of wise guys ran out the back door when they saw somebody go head down on the table.
Wow.
And yeah, it was very sad. But I think about you, Steve, because you kind of had the same career launch as he did. You're just a guy who, because of your big personality and being a certain type of Italian American, he was sort of brought into. Goodfellas was like his first acting role, wasn't it?
Who's that? Me?
Frankie?
No, Frankie.
Oh, Frankie. No. Frankie had been an actor and a singer. He used to do cruise ships. He probably.
I didn't know that.
I believe he played Vegas. He was yeah.
Okay.
Frankie was a talented guy that had been around.
Yeah.
Quite a while. Now his aunt and uncle owned Rayo's, and Rayo's for many years, and I don't know what year, but was just a regular neighborhood Italian restaurant. Back then, that was all Italian Americans up there, that part of Harlem. And it was just a regular Italian restaurant. Then Mimi Sheridan, who was the New York Times food critic, came in and I believe gave it 4 stars.
Wow.
And before you know it, you couldn't get a table. I don't know what year that was, but you couldn't go near there. Before that, it was just a red sauce place. She gave it this incredible review. His aunt and uncle had it. And then Frankie took it over with a partner, I believe Ron is his name. Yeah. And they had it for many years, and they opened the one up in Vegas, and there was one in LA. Frankie's son, Frankie Pellegrino Jr., good guy, runs the one in Vegas at Caesars. And Frankie had been acting. And I think he was a series regular on Homicide, was it?
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Frankie worked. Frankie had been around. Yeah.
Right. But if people don't know about Rayo's, it's a place that you can't get a table there. It's as a matter of fact, the way the tables work is if you're a regular, you get your table every third Thursday of the month, and everybody who's got a table, you're rotated in like that. And the only way you can get in there is if you're a friend of somebody who's got a table, with exceptions. And that's why I want to ask you guys, because you knew him from the show, were you able to get in?
Yeah, I did. I took my father there for his 70th birthday. And I called Frankie in advance, like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I said, he's turning 70 and this is his birthday and we'd love to go on or around. Doesn't have to be exactly on the day. And he said, let me get back. And he did. And we were there. I was there with Vinny Pastore and Tony Sirico once. Especially if you would go on the late, we went together. We went with Bo Dietl once.
Yeah.
But if you go late, often you could get a table, right? So if you go after because the first seating was at 8, and if they know you, they'll kind of, if their table opened up.
If they leave early, they're early people. Yeah. But a couple things. One, I believe it's Thanksgiving week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of that week, they allow civilians. You go and wait online and you could get a table.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be the following summer when it's a little slower, when some things open up. So you could get a table.
Yeah.
Number 2, Bo Dietl, who's a friend of mine, he's got a table. He gave it to me a few times. Frankie, I called in advance. But I'll tell you what Frankie did for me. And I knew Frankie well, but certainly weren't best friends with him. I did a show in 2007 called Steve Schirripa's Hungry, and where I went around to different restaurants. And Frankie opened the restaurant in the daytime, because don't forget, this is open Monday through Friday for dinner only, cash only. No
Yeah.
weekends.
No
You
weekends.
can't call, no reservations, no nothing. All right. I got a hold of Frankie. I had his cell number. He opened the restaurant to our little crew, which was about 10 people, showed me how to make meatballs on camera.
Nice.
He then he cooked himself, fed the 10 of us in the middle of the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock. It was fantastic.
That's amazing.
And now Joey, who runs the place there, he's the maitre d'. And, you know, if I needed a table, and like you said, if I'm flexible and months in advance, you know, I could get one, I think, you know.
Wow. Yeah, the last time I went, I didn't go for a lot of years after my dad died. And then I got in touch with Frank and I asked him if I could come in, and I brought my dad's best friend, who you work with, Len Carrio.
Yeah. Oh, great guy.
Ate
Great.
there with Len.
Oh, yeah? They were close, huh? Yeah, Len is a terrific guy. I love him.
What an actor. What an actor. I mean,
Fantastic.
Michael, as a theater guy, you must have had a lot of respect for Len also, right?
Yeah, he was in Sweeney Todd on Broadway.
I think you got the Tony for that.
He was the original, I guess the original.
Yeah.
Of that, in that role, you know, which I saw way back. He was fantastic.
He's a
And
well-respected.
In that part, he's a really good actor. Yeah.
And you've been on Blue Bloods also, right?
Yeah, I did two or three.
Uh-huh. Did you guys have any scenes together?
No.
No, I had my scenes were with Donnie Wahlberg, Bridget Moynihan, and Tom Selleck.
Right.
I thought I gave a suggestion. Maybe we should cross each other and just kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead and keep going.
Right.
Maybe this season. Maybe Mike will come back this season.
Maybe,
Yeah. Are you doing any more writing? Because I know you're the only main cast member to write any episodes. You wrote 5 episodes of Sopranos. Are you writing any other TV?
I am writing a new series that I've been working on for a while, for like the last year. But I'm adapting. I published a novel 2 years ago, and I'm adapting that for film.
What's the novel about?
It's called The Perfume Burned His Eyes. It's a coming-of-age novel set in 1977 in New York, about a boy who moves from Queens to Upper East Side of Manhattan and becomes like kind of like a gopher to Lou Reed, who's living in his building and is in the midst of a particularly crazy and creative period of his life.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
I saw Lou Reed naked once. I was in a steam
Lucky
room.
you, man. Really? Which one?
The Chelsea Piers. That was my gym when I lived in New York. And he used to swim there every morning. He was married. Was he married to Laurie Anderson?
Yes.
Yeah. So him and Laurie Anderson would go to the gym early in the morning and they'd swim. And so I came in and I go in the steam room, and you go to the steam room and it's like, and the steam has all kind of settled and you're waiting for that next cycle to come up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it goes from being like naked in a room with a bunch of guys and it's kind of foggy and it's no big deal. And then the smoke comes down and I look up and it's fucking Lou Reed sitting there naked and old. And I was like, this is not how I wanted to see my hero, Lou Reed.
That's very funny.
So
I hope you didn't introduce yourself.
No, I didn't want
to shake his hand.
I never do that. I never introduce myself. And
It's like when you're taking a piss in the bathroom, guy wants to shake your hand. Come on, man.
What do people say to you guys most often when they see you out in public?
Well, I get called Bobby mostly, but now Anthony from Blue Bloods. I get a lot of that. And of course, it's the usual. What about the ending? When are you gonna the prequel now? Now it's the prequel. Where's Uncle Junior? That a lot of that.
Yeah, right.
That's what I get.
Well, I mean, people basically talk about they like the work that I've done. For the most part, that's the kind of thing I get.
Yeah.
It's gotten younger and younger, actually, which is strange.
Right.
The fans, a whole new generation of young people have gotten turned on to The Sopranos. A lot of these kids were too young were not even born or too young to watch it when it was first on. So that's pretty cool. I'm really
my kids are around your kids' age. I think my son is 19, and I waited until he was 18 to watch the show. Not just because I thought it was too racy, but just the themes in it. You need to be of a certain age.
Oh yeah, without a
Sure.
doubt.
So we started watching it, and he resisted at first because he just it's hard to get your kid to do anything. And then he watched one episode, and then I saw him go down a wormhole where rabbit hole or wormhole? Rabbit hole.
Either one. You could go down both.
He started watching 3-4 episodes a day, and he didn't stop till he finished. And I sat down and watched them with him. And all of his friends, they sit around and they quote the show. He's telling me yesterday, you got to listen. You know, there's a soundtrack of the show out that's pretty amazing.
I think there was a couple of them.
There were 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's his favorite album. So young people are really into the show.
Well, Michael, you get some heat for sitting on the dog, don't you?
Not in public.
no?
Not on the street. I mean, when we've done events and people, but no, not on the streets.
Not on the street. You know, listen, 98, 99% are fantastic. And every once in a while, like, you know, you get a douchebag, you know, every now and then you get a smart aleck guy who is a wise guy or wannabe wise guy. And, you know, you get some of that stuff, you know, you get once in a blue moon, you get a guy where you got to back him off, you know.
Oh, do you back him off? You don't just ignore it?
Sometimes you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
You know, I try to, but sometimes you can't. But 99%, the fans are fantastic. They appreciate what we do and what we did. And, you know, to be honest, they're very loyal and very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Even though we're seeing that on the podcast. You say something, you know, on social media, they'll say, hey, during that, you were wrong, or or I noticed this, or you didn't mention that. They're very knowledgeable group.
Yeah, right. I just listened to the episode that you guys did with Edie Falco, which was so amazing. I mean, just hearing you guys, your love for the show comes through, and it's like hearing you guys being fans of the show that you watched, because it feels like years later, to varying degrees, you're able to watch it, but not as much. But just reminiscing about it, I think it's great for people to see you love the show as much as they love it.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is that neither one of us have watched it since it initially aired.
Yeah.
So we're really looking at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And with a distance to really appreciate it, because, you know, sometimes you're a little, you know, too close to really see for what it was at the time, and now people are gone, and most notably Jim Gandolfini, and so it's bittersweet, but I'm very proud of what we did on it, without a doubt.
The show is so good. I mean, it's so smart. It's so funny. I mean, you know, honestly, I mean, I always knew that, but now maybe I'm older. I haven't seen it in years. I enjoy the Melfi stuff much better. The show is laugh out loud funny.
Yes.
I mean, and nothing is by mistake.
Yeah.
If a character is eating Fig Newtons, he's doing it for a reason. If they want, you know, Big Ziti, it's Big Ziti. You know, there's a purpose for everything.
Right.
Michael knows, you know, analyzes and knows. I watch it more like a fan. I have a lot of questions for him, which he has the answers to almost all the time.
Sometimes.
And it's brilliant. I mean, it really is just if I wasn't on it, I would still feel the same way, you know. It's
Right.
just great.
Right. It's the greatest show ever made. I don't think there's any question about that. And not only because of how it stands on its own, it'll stand the test of time, but the influence that it had on other shows, and the serial nature of how it goes from episode to episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, listen, this is the first time you had an overweight, balding guy, leading man. It becomes a sex symbol.
Yeah.
You know, he killing people, but yet the audience is rooting for him.
Right.
Guy's a murderer, drug dealer, thief, on and on and on. Cheats on his wife. I mean, he's got all the fucking bad habits, gambling, drugs, and yet the audience loves Tony Soprano.
Well, you were one of the few nice guys on the show.
I was one of my character, Bobby, was one of the gentler, wise guys. He didn't have a gumada. He was a family guy and kind of thrown into the business. But in the end, he had to kill someone.
Yeah.
The boss, he had no alternative. So
that had to be your favorite episode. What a journey that episode.
That was a good one. That was one of my favorite
fight
ones.
with him. Jesus.
And we were up in Tarrytown, where you're from.
Oh,
we
no
stayed
kidding.
in the Marriott up there, I think.
Oh, yeah?
We were there for 2 weeks because we shot about 45 minutes from there.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the lake. We on the show we were near Canada, Montreal.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case,
Right.
That was a good episode, and working with Edie and Jim and Aida was fantastic.
And then what's it like getting killed off the show? Because is it the kind of thing where I've heard on other shows you don't know until you get that week's script that you're going to be killed off?
No, I knew like a year or so before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But for both Steve and I, it was pretty much the end of the series. So
Right.
It was not, it wasn't like the first year we were on, we made it to the end. Pretty much everybody was done by then. So it wasn't, I wasn't upset about it or anything.
No, because at that point it was like, all bets are off. I mean, this is it. We were getting paid, if that's the way the story goes. But I'll tell you what, I know I would have been very upset if they would have killed me off in season 2 or 3, even 4. I mean, because not only you're out of work, I mean, these are your friends and it's great work. And I would have kind of, I don't know about devastated, but I would have been fucking not happy.
And you never knew when it would happen on that show because it's one of those shows where they killed their babies. They killed off some really good characters over the course of the show.
Some guys knew going in, like I think Richie Aprile, I think David Proval, I think Joey Pants knew they were there for a limited. When they signed on, I think they knew they were there for a limited time. But listen, the more you got on the show, the more stuff they gave you, the bigger chance you were getting fucking killed.
Right.
And then you were out, kind of out of the club, right, Michael? You were kind of fucking, we were still friends with you, but you know how it goes. It's like you play for the Yankees and get traded. You're not a Yankee anymore. They still love you, but see
right.
ya.
Well, did you guys stay in touch? I know you guys are good friends now, but like, did you stay consistently in touch after the show ended?
Yeah, we've been with a lot of the people, not just Steve and I. But yeah, Steve and I have been friends since the show, and we see each other a lot. We've done events, and we've done other stuff.
Right.
We did a couple of movies together. But I knew a lot of the actors before The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Like I went to acting school with John Ventimiglia, who played Artie Bucco, and Sharon Angela, who played Rosalie Aprile. I knew Edie from other, independent movies. I knew Steve Buscemi, Tony Sirico, Vinnie Pastore, Kathy Narducci. So, a lot of us were friends before.
Right.
It wasn't just that happened,
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone, but we kept in touch. We do a live show called Conversation with the Sopranos. And we traveled, we did a tour in Australia last May. 7 cities, and it was fucking wild. The show is as big in Australia as it was here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And then this year it got canceled, but we had a 16-city tour throughout the UK, Scotland, Ireland. And we were 3/4 sold out there. The whole thing got canceled. It's kind of an actor studio. We bring Joey Cola with us. He does his act. Then question and answer, take questions from the audience. It's myself, Michael, and Vinnie Pastore, Big Pussy. And that's worked out pretty good. It's a lot of fun. And the people are huge fans. And we've done a bunch of them here in the United States. We go out, theaters, we canceled a bunch of dates, but we've done the Borgata and Foxwoods and all kinds of shit, The show is as popular as ever, probably more popular now because of streaming and shit. More people are watching it now than they did
Right.
back then.
And also, I was going to say, the other thing that The Sopranos did, you gave a big gift to the state of New Jersey. I mean, you guys know, growing up in New York, Jersey was the joke. Everybody made fun of New Jersey. It's a shithole. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it hadn't been cool since Frank Sinatra. And then I think between you guys, Bruce, maybe Lauryn Hill, all of a sudden, Jersey got very cool.
I guess so. Jersey Shore, I don't know if that helped.
No, fuck no. That set them back 30 fucking years.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're like the home team in New Jersey, us and the East Street Band, and people really appreciate that and appreciate because Jersey's a very varied place. There's not one thing that really represents it. You know what I mean? Some of it's very rural, some of it's very rich. You got the shore, you got Atlantic City, you got North Jersey that's similar to New York and suburban and poor, you know, then there's poor sections. So it's a very, you know, mixed bag, really.
Yeah.
And I think it just had a stereotypical reputation, I guess, as like the way you just put it. So yeah, I think people in New Jersey really appreciate our, you know, the association we have with it.
Yeah, I think for sure. Sopranos kind of put it on the map to the rest of the world.
A great place to shoot, because we shot so much on location there. We did some interiors in Queens at Silver Cup Studio, but you know, a lot of it was location in all these towns. And once the show was a hit, you know, it was really fun going into some of these neighborhoods. The people would invite me in their house, like between scenes, to relax or to eat something or have a drink. And it was, like, they felt like we were part of their family. It was really fun that way.
Yeah, that's nice. And it is true, New Jersey. The problem with Jersey is that as you drive into it, you're seeing the worst part of the state. You know, as you drive to Newark Airport and you're seeing just smokestacks and chemical factories. And then people don't realize you go down near like Princeton and, you know, Cape May. I mean, just beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's what it showed too.
Got it that way.
Yeah, I think that's what it showed too, though. You know, Greg, it showed that there wasn't just Bayonne and Newark and you know, it smelled and all that. I think it showed, wow, you know, there's a whole different part of Jersey that I thought about, you know.
Right. So I'm going to do a quiz with you guys because I noticed something online, which is that 27 actors were both in Goodfellas and Sopranos, including you, Michael. But of the five were regulars on the show, and can you name all five?
Me, Lorraine, Tony Sirico, Vinny Pastore, Frank Vincent. Right.
Now there were 10 recurring cast members that appeared on the show that were also in Goodfellas.
I don't know if I can name those.
Wait a minute. Let's see.
Frankie Pellegrino.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, Michael, I thought you were like
Suzanne Shepard.
Right. Nicole Burdette, Tony Darrow.
Tony Darrow, of course. Right. Nicole, who did she play in Goodfellas?
No idea.
I don't remember her in Goodfellas.
Paul Herman.
Paulie Herman.
Oh,
Beansy.
Yeah, Beansy. Yeah, he was great in Goodfellas and The Sopranos.
Marianne Leone.
Oh, right. I didn't remember her in Goodfellas. She played my mom. Yeah, she's a great actress.
Oh, yeah. And Daniel P. Conte.
Dr. Dan.
Dr.
Yes.
Dan, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So did you guys have any input on the music? Because I know Steve Van Zandt probably had a lot of input, I would imagine.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. I may have suggested a few songs in some of the scripts I wrote, but most of that was, I think, Steve Van Zandt, David Chase, and Martin Bruce Lee. And who's the woman, Steve, that worked with Martin in post-production? She had a lot to do with the music.
Gianni, Italian girl.
Was it
Gianna?
Gianni? Yeah.
Gianna?
But mostly David, I think, did,
Yeah. And he directed, how many episodes did he direct?
only 2, the pilot and the finale.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Was that a conscious thing that he was going all along that he was going to direct the final episode?
Probably.
Sure.
Yeah. And when he directed, was it word for word, or was there room for you, or just in general? Was
Always
this
word for word.
Always.
Any director, word for word. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, no improv.
No paraphrasing. There's none of that.
No
None-
improv, and a lot of actors kind of, if they came on, during the run and they weren't original members of the cast, they came on and they were probably used to improvising with similar material, and they got told pretty quickly that didn't fly on the show.
Right.
Because it seemed like improv, I guess. It was so natural and it seemed spontaneous and it seemed very improvisational, but wasn't at all. And the opposite of Goodfellas, which was my stuff, at least, was almost all improvisation.
Did you, when you wrote episodes, did you work with anybody to help you, get the vernacular of Jersey, or did you just kind of know it by then? Because it's different than New York.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
What's different? Like what?
Slang words, I guess,
Yeah. What do they call it? They call it a hoagie in Jersey, and they call it a wedge.
A hero.
A wedge in the Bronx and
Yeah.
Westchester, right?
Well, Brooklyn, Staten Island's a hero.
Yeah. In Brooklyn, it's a hero?
A hero.
And where's it a grinder?
Philly.
Where's that? Oh, that's Philly.
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah, and it's and in Jersey it's a what? It's a
I think it's a sub in New Jersey.
A sub. Okay. Sub,
yeah. And did you ever go in New Jersey? Did you ever go to the place where was the Bada Bing actually set? Was it based on a real strip club?
Yeah, Satin Dolls in Lodi.
But it was a bathing suit club, it was a...
Oh yeah, Jersey's not nude.
Well, there was a place across the parking lot that was totally nude, but you couldn't, you had to bring your own alcohol. They weren't allowed to serve alcohol if they were nude. And sometimes we would have the holding area there in the day, and have like lunch, set up, catering set up there. It was just disgusting, I have to say.
Perfume.
Well,
not
at least
the
you're not
perfume,
going to get
just
a hair in your salad because
I don't think that. Yeah, so you could be naked if you didn't serve alcohol, but not if you. Those laws just absolutely. I don't know how they figure those.
I guess
out.
the idea is if you're drunk, then you're gonna not be in control.
There was no hair in the salad. By then, everybody shaved, so there was none of that.
I remember they had this rule in New York too, which was you couldn't have a strip club within 100 yards of a school. Like somehow nobody could sprint that far. That's the school kids. They're the ones that are in shape. Put it a couple miles away.
110 yards, you were okay. It was
Really
safe.
Yeah. All right, listen, I could talk to you guys all day, but I don't want to hijack your time. And I truly feel like this is the greatest show ever made. It's an honor to talk to both of you. And Steve, good talking to you again.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Talking Sopranos, we're on YouTube anywhere you get your podcast.
Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
Go to talkingsopranos.com, and
over 2 million listeners so far. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Top 100 in iTunes.
Yeah, we've done pretty good. And you know what? It's just like me and him talking, like the three of us. It's just like having lunch, bullshitting about the show. It's not,
Yeah, it's a great listen. I listened to 2 episodes, and I'm ready to listen. And my son he's psyched. He didn't know about it, so he's going to start listening now.
We motherfuck a few people along the way, Fuck Pat Cooper.
Yeah, right. Poor Pat. He really gets no respect.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it.
But I guess he didn't give it.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't get it, right?
No, it's actually kind of sad because he really is funny, but he's his own worst enemy.
Often that's the case in our business, isn't it?
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Thanks again, and
Hey, buddy.
I'll catch up
Thank
to you
you.
after this
Take care, man.
Is over.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having us.
All right.
Thanks. See ya.
Take care.
See you, pal.